So today's assignment, you guys are asked to critique 2 mugs. They do not have to be handmade, but if you have handmade mugs, then more power to you. But they should be 2 different types of mugs, 2 different sizes, shapes, styles, etc. So today I have the beloved Goldleaf. It's actually hand built and then altered on the wheel. You can see that the handle is made by a slab that the artist has added like these ridges to. It is a square mug and it's wood fired. So when you put pottery in a wood kiln, you have to put these pieces of clay on the bottom so that the kiln or the pottery doesn't stick to the kiln. So that's why those are there. And the red that you're seeing is like that flashing that the flame will actually create onto the pottery in the wood kiln. The outside is the same idea, so you can kind of see the flashing happening. This brown part is glazed, and then it's also on the inside. It's kind of hard to see in video, but you gotta trust me on that. And then the gold leaf is added afterwards and then refired in an electric kiln just to get up to temperature so it sticks onto the mug. So what I love about this mug is the handmade aspect. It's beautifully crafted. It sits nice and flat on the table with minimal wobbling. It holds a lot of coffee, which is fabulous. And also it is like, I like the lip, how it's not too thick or too thin. And it's okay to drink out of. So this is the part that at the time of buying, it was more of an aesthetic buy than a realistic functional buy. So even though this mug is awesome, I don't actually use it that often. And I'm gonna tell you why in a second. So this mug I think was made for more of a larger hand. I have little bitty hands. So the handle is a little difficult for me to grab because of the thickness. Also, I realized after buying this mug that I hate handles that are at the top. Because if you have to imagine, this is a big mug fully filled with coffee, it's super heavy. And you are asked to grab it from the top, which means it becomes very bottom heavy and it's more difficult to actually drink out of. So I end up having to either hold it like this, or maybe I put one finger on the inside, I end up holding like this. But as we know, the importance of a mug is a handle and it should be used. And if it's not being used, then it's kind of a cup, and that's why it's one of my downfalls to why this mug isn't something I use very often. All right, so I really prefer a handle on the bottom, which is why you would see other mugs that I personally create with the handle towards the bottom, and then also the thickness of the handle from here to here is a little thick for my hand. All right, so this one was made by an artist at East Carolina. She was a grad student. Her name is Kat, and this was her signature, little catfish, pretty cute. She still is a full-time artist, running her own studio and creates crazy awesome hand-built, altered on the wheel works of art. So that is that. So now time for the mug that is my go-to mug. The go-to mug, as in the go-to pair of shoes that you always find yourself wanting to wear, the t-shirt, whatever it may be. In the Marciano world, it is a mug. So this right here is my go-to mug because it is the perfect shape. I enjoy like the more vase-like shape. It still holds a good amount of coffee. The thickness isn't too thick where it's awkward to drink out of, but it's not so thin that it would burn my hands if I go ahead and hold it. I do have another mug that I almost was gonna critique for you guys, but then I realized that I don't actually like use this mug as often because it's so thin, it's thrown so thin that if I go to hold it, it actually burns my hand. Not happening. So I do enjoy this one as well. Also, check out the handle. The thumb rest is actually a quartz stone, pink quartz, which is pretty cool. This pottery place is called Healing Pottery, It's in Vermont, and they actually incorporate stones into their mugs, which I thought was kind of cool. This mug was given to me by a good friend, so she knows me very well. And I really enjoy the glazing on this because it is more of an earth tone. We've talked about before how some people enjoy more earth tones or more organic forms, whereas others may enjoy more of like the pinks and the reds, and more of a geometric style. So this one would be Mrs. Marciano in a mug. What are the downfalls? Couldn't tell you. It's a perfect mug. And it's easy to clean. And notice how we've talked about sliver of bisque. Notice how they have cleaned up their sliver of bisque on the bottom so that when they fired it in the kiln, it didn't stick to the kiln shelf. That's also kind of cool to see. The handle thickness is the perfect thickness for my hand. All right. So yeah, the perfect mug, Mrs. Marciano in a mug. It's right here. So what I'm going to be asking from you guys is to actually, like I said, critique 2 mugs that you find in your house. If they're handmade or store-bought, that's totally fine. But I do want you to, in a Google Doc, or if you want, you could videotape yourself just like I'm doing here and send it to me. Critique the 2 mugs. Tell me what you like, what you don't like about them. Hopefully maybe one of them is your favorite. And so you can tell me more about why it is your favorite. It could be a design aspect or it could be more of a memory, which is totally fine. A lot of my mugs that I own are more of like a memory-based reason why I bought them more than anything else. And yeah, just like a few sentences here and there, just telling me the good and the bad about each mug, and then send it along so we can continue having this conversation about mugs. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing all of you guys hopefully soon. And I look forward to reading or watching your responses. Have a good day.